X2 has been a coaster I've wanted to ride for a while now, but unfortunately it's located thousands of miles away from where I live. So naturally, given my interest in the coaster, I had to build it. Building this model, I really didn't know where to start structurally, so I just started building the layout. Just on its own, just the layout, nothing else, no supports, no base, just the layout. So I started with the first turn out of the station that headed up the lift hill, and that was honestly one of the most difficult parts, getting that angle to the lift hill. I actually had to do some math and measuring, make sure I got it to the right angle. I think it was around like 35 to 40 degrees. I can't remember exactly, but I think it translated well over to Legos. And then coming right off that lift hill, the pre-drop was really hard to get the shaping right because it's so dense and small that the ball joint pieces have to curve in an unnatural fashion to really get the shape accurate. And then right after that, the drop, funny thing is, it's not a perfect 90-degree drop. It's like something like an 88.5 degree drop, and like I don't know what Alan Schilke was thinking, like just make it 90, but there had to have been some structural reason that it couldn't have been 90, so I'll never know. And then after the drop, moving on to what RCDB calls an inside Raven turn, I had to get that shaping right because it's not like an Immelman like B&M's dive coasters use. An Immelman is more of a circle, whereas the inside Raven turn is more of an egg shape. So after I cleared up that issue, getting the rest of the layout up until the turnaround was pretty easy, considering it's just in a straight line and doesn't require any twisting of the ball joint pieces. And then after that, the turnaround was alright, except for the fact that when copying the ball joint pieces, they all don't stay at the same angle, which annoyed me when trying to rotate them back into the right position. Anybody who has used Studio in the past knows that there are only 3 directions in which you can rotate a piece, and you can't do it at a diagonal in between each rotation. So you have to manually do one direction and then the other to meet halfway. And then after that turnaround, it was pretty easy considering that part is also straight. And then I figured out a pretty good technique when flipping the track over, where you can see where the fly to lie is. I believe that's what they call it. Yeah, they call it a fly to lie, which is interesting because you're like flying and then you backflip and then you're on your back. I've heard it's a very interesting experience. And then after that flipping of the track, I thought I had gotten my measurements wrong with the last outside Raven turn, because the way I originally had it, it was much bigger and it extended well across the original inside Raven turn. But as it turns out, it's supposed to be way smaller than that, because apparently the trains lose a lot of momentum going through its course. So it turned out being pretty accurate to the real life X2. And then of course after that, I just had to connect the track to the brake run, which I had previously built out of the back of the station. And I want to see if anybody can find where the track doesn't meet, because there's a weird thing about these ball joint pieces, at least in Studio, because I feel like it'd be a pretty easy fix in real life. But it's that once you do all the bending of the ball joint pieces, is that it's very hard to connect 2 ends together. So I just tried to get it as close as possible within the program. So I'm interested to see if anybody can find where they supposedly meet. Like I said before, the supports weren't really a struggle, maybe except the lift hill supports, because they were a little bit denser than the rest of the model, so to speak. And then I found a pretty good system with the other supports, because I made a bar system that ran across the top of some of the supports. You can see that where the first catwalk is and the second catwalk is, there's just like a few set of bars that I copied throughout the entire layout to make sure that it was completely horizontal with the ground and that none of the supports would be skewed off to one side. I really learned a lot from this build. I am also working on another coaster from Cedar Point. I've told Intim 305 about this, but I've put that project on hold and I've started another one, also designed by Alan Schilke, the only roller coaster there designed by him. So let's see if any of you can figure it out, because I sure know Chess isn't waiting for me to build. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this latest video, and be sure to like and subscribe if you really enjoyed the video. And if you really enjoyed the video, make sure to share it with your friends. Thank you. Peace out.